Yeah, mate.
Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to a brand new episode of the number one student podcast in the world. Today we have Sam the Myth Coffey from VYB. Is it VYB or VYB?
Either, mate, whatever you fancy. Both. VYB, let's call it.
VYB, from VYB channel, which is a YouTube channel with 75,000
Good knowledge,
subscribers.
just about.
Good
We'll round it up.
I've done my research.
It's about 73 and a half, but we'll round it up to 75.
So what is VYB then?
VYB is a talent-based YouTube channel. So it's basically a group of 5 individuals consisting of myself, a guy called Joe, Horner, Sav, and Georgia. Basically, it's just a group of mates. We're very much just as good friends off screen as well as on screen, and very similar to kind of the YouTube stuff that you make to an extent. A lot of lifestyle-based content, a few pranks involved, quite a lot of challenges, a lot of like faking it, I would say.
Yep.
We've done quite a few videos where we're like pretending to be certain individuals, and I guess the way to sum it up in like a sentence, because I've been rambling on already, is basically it's comedy, light entertainment content.
Yep.
But with a lot of the stuff that we try and do, we try to have some kind of comment on society in some way. So, for example, one of the first ever big hitters we had was where we pretended that Sav, one of the guys on the channel, was going on Love Island.
Yeah.
So we created this fake image of him in like a typical Love Island like swimsuit stuff, and sent a picture to all the tabloids pretending that this was like a photo shoot for Love Island, and he was about to go on, and everyone bought it.
Yeah. And
it was in the front pages of all the magazines, so it was like a big hitter for us. But kind of the story behind all of that comedy that you're watching is, don't believe everything you read in the paper, because it was so easy to like prank the tabloids. And we kind of exposed like how easy it was, how little information tabloids need to just run a story. So with a lot of stuff we do, we try and have some kind of moral, I guess, under.
And you've done more of them with. I saw your fake Hollywood star with Nick. Because you've done a lot of collaborations, haven't you, with other YouTubers as well?
Yeah, we were really lucky with that one. It was a funny story because Nico is like someone we look up to. He's got 1 million subscribers. He does a lot of prank-based stuff as well. And basically, just out of nowhere, one day, he put up an Instagram story like, "Oh, I've just been going through YouTube, just looking for some new YouTubers, and I found this channel VYB."
Yeah.
We'd never spoken to him before.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Love this channel. If you guys are looking for a new channel, you should watch VYB," which is incredible.
But you all up.
It was incredible. I couldn't believe it. Like, in the same way as, you know, if you can imagine, like, if your favourite YouTuber suddenly just shouted you out without you knowing them, we were like, this is like insane. I can't believe this is happening. So obviously we then messaged him, and we were kind of in talks with doing stuff with him, but he's just a really busy guy. Like guy with 1 million subscribers, very, very hard to pin down. Rightly so. But eventually we went to LA, which is a different story completely. But we were in LA for the KSI versus Logan Paul fight, and bumped into him at the final press conference, and we just went up to him and said, like, "Are you interested in doing a video with us?" We basically wanted to do a video where we were going to go down Hollywood Boulevard and pretend that the original plan was that Sav, the same guy who was the fake Love Island guy, he was going to be a celebrity. And so I was going to pretend to be a paparazzi. We were going to have fake fans. So like create this big entourage. And the moral of that story was going to be, like if you have like fake fans taking pictures with someone, even if you don't know who that celebrity is, are you then going to have pictures with him purely because you think they're famous? So then we saw him and we were like, "Do you want to get involved in this with us? Because it's the kind of video you'd like to make, but we'll make him the celebrity." So
he's not going to turn that down, is he?
Yeah, well,
it's a good fun video.
Well, we only have 70,000 subscribers and he has 1 million, so you know there isn't really any reason why he had to do that video. But just, you know, out of the kind of his own heart and because he likes the stuff that we do, he was willing to do it. So big shout out to him. So yeah, that was another big moment for us, I guess.
I remember he was the guy who did at the KSI Logan Paul fight. He asked Jake Paul and Logan Paul to tell, I think it was Deji and KSI, that they're an idiot in Welsh. And he goes, "Say I'm a nonsense."
Literally that.
I saw it, I was like, that is absolutely golden, man. That is unbelievable.
The most ridiculous thing about that is that he did it the first time round, which is, I think it was a year ago, right?
Yeah.
But then he did it again.
Yeah.
So in LA, he got Jake Paul to say, "I am a nonce" again.
Yeah.
So I don't like. I would have thought that original video would have gone viral enough that like one of Jake Paul's PR guys would have been like, "Watch out for this guy because you got trolled."
Yeah.
Clearly not, and he was just happy to say it again.
Well, so even they were talking about it on the Logan Paul podcast, and they were talking about. Because there's a guy on Logan's team that is English, so he obviously knows the English lingo and everything. He was like, he didn't even know what it meant.
Really?
They were like, apparently it just means like an idiot in English. It's just like a term they use, but obviously it means you're a pedo.
Yeah.
And Jake Paul's got obviously this really young audience, and he can't be shut. Like he just said on his channel that he's a nonce.
Yeah.
To follow up from that, so you've got this production team. Technically, there's 5 of you or 6 of you.
Yeah.
Do you plan out your videos? How does it work? Do you plan out when you're going to be traveling, or do you just?
Yeah. So as a 5, all the people that you see on screen, we're the only people that do all of the work behind the scenes as well. So we don't have like any external film crew or anything like that.
So it's all you.
Yeah. So everything you see, we produce. So we'll sit down in a group of 5 and we'll brainstorm like as many ideas as possible. And we'll usually start with like a title before the video concept. We're like, can we come up with a catchy title? Because essentially we're always thinking about growth, always thinking about how we can get new eyeballs on it.
And it's important to have context as well, context to what is happening at the time. So like you say about the Love Island thing, obviously you did that around the time when Love Island was starting.
Yeah.
So that would have popped off the whole KSI logo. You've got to have context as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's always like a lot of thought behind what the title is going to be.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll try and build out like a very specific blueprint.
Yep.
So we'll write like an intro voiceover that sets the context, which is like, again, in the example of the Love Island, we're talking about how easy it is to get into the tabloids and a bit of context about that, and then about Love Island as a show. And then, we'll plan out roughly like how the video will follow all the different stages, because usually we got into a bit of a rhythm of filming the actual planning stages of it, which people seem to warm to quite well. Like if we were trying to execute some kind of master
behind the
plan.
scenes in it.
Yeah. So we'll film us actually sitting in a room and planning out like, for another example, we had an idea where we created a fake coffee brand, which it was actually like budget coffee, but we were giving it out to like hipsters in London, but marketing this really cheap coffee as like a real fancy hipster brand. Yeah. So at the start of that video, you saw us in a room being like, "Oh, what should we call it? What should be the theory behind what should be the context that we write out?" So you usually in a lot of the videos you'll see the planning stage.
Yeah.
And then we'll go and like execute it. And that's essentially how.
So how far ahead do you plan? Is it a week before you edit film these videos, or is it? Because obviously for the KSI Logan thing, you had to plan in advance. You knew what you were doing in the long term. But, so is it very? Because to me it sounds quite strategic. It sounds quite planned out.
It is, yeah.
It's not very sporadic. It's not very. Because obviously sometimes you're gonna have to. There's gonna be them moments where you're gonna have to. Right, we've got this opportunity. Quickly, you're gonna have to pick up a camera, plan out a video quick.
Yeah,
we need to get this video out.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of like I would say. Yes, it's not sporadic in a sense because we're planning when we're going to shoot, when we're going to shoot. But then sometimes when it comes to an actual shoot, you don't know. Like a lot of our videos, we're relying on a payoff. We don't know how things are going to work, and you can't really plan for that, right? You don't really know exactly what's going to happen. Like again, for example, we can plan when we're executing this coffee video and we're like creating this fake brand. We can plan everything up to like creating the brand, buying t-shirts with like personalized fake logos on it. We can plan out what we're going to say to the general public to try and like prank them a little bit. But when it actually comes to the point in which we execute it, you don't know exactly what's like how people are going to react. So that's the bit that you can't quite plan for. And that's when it just like, you just start having fun with it and you just start rolling with it.
Well, sometimes with me, because sometimes I try and plan out videos. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I kind of just pick up the camera and what happens. See
what happens. Then
obviously you got the power of editing where you can edit out things. Absolutely. You can make it more interesting because they say sometimes they say it's not about the content you've got. It's how you edit that content.
Yeah, very true.
You can produce any content out of any content you've got. You can edit any content out of any content you've got. I've just said content like about 6 times in that sentence.
No, it's very true, mate. Like I think So like, and even for us, like sometimes we'll come away from things that we filmed and we're like, oh, not really sure how that's gone. Is that going to be funny? And you never really know until you put it in the edit. I guess there is a line in a sense that like things can go so badly that you can't really pull anything that entertaining out of it. But if you come away from something and you're like, I'm not sure how well that went, I think it's always important to like watch the footage back, try and do a bit of a rough edit with it before you make that decision of like whether it's worth trying to film something again or whether it's worth like canning the whole concept. Do
you feel like there's a lot of pressure with obviously being so a bit more context about VYB? You are owned by Sky.
Yeah.
So you are being paid by a company to obviously run this channel. They obviously invest in the equipment, etc. Do you feel like there's, because it's not your personal channel, it's not all based on you, you are working for someone, do you feel like there is that extra added pressure in that, or are you kind of just used to that because you've obviously been introduced into it as that role? Whereas for me, like if I was then to go into a company, I'd find like there's pressure on me because it's not my own channel, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what you say because of the fact that I've never been a YouTuber myself before taking on this role. I wouldn't really know what it's like working for myself. But to an extent, it does kind of feel like I'm working for myself because like the company I work for, they're very good at letting us as a five just like run it all ourselves and letting us get on with it because they trust that because we all care about it. Like I've seen it grow from the very start, so it still very much feels like my baby almost and everyone else's. So we do like put endless amounts of work into it. In terms of like the stress, it is quite stressful because we've found that when we're really good at gaining momentum when we put something out the same time on the same day every week. And that's what we try and do. We've kind of like went off the boil a tiny bit over Christmas, just because like usually we put things out on a Thursday, but then the general election was on a Thursday, so we weren't sure whether that was the best day. So that kind of disrupted it a tiny bit, but we'll get back to it in the new year. So trying to hit that deadline of like Thursday 5 p.m. every week, it is very challenging. But that's like something that we've put on ourselves, I would say. So I don't think the fact that I'm working for a company makes it more stressful. I think it's just we set ourselves hard deadlines because we know that if we hit those deadlines, that's going to do the best for us in terms of growth.
You need that pressure. You need that. Because as a YouTuber that I watch, you said that to be able to keep out getting content, you need to have a structure, you need to have a method, you need to have dates in the week where you are going to be uploading. That keeps you constantly making content. If you're feeling like you don't want to make content or you don't want to film a video, you know that you have to if you've set this date for people to then obviously go and watch a video. So for me, I had every Wednesday at 4 o'clock and every Sunday at 4 o'clock. And for me, 2 videos a week was quite a lot.
That's a lot for one person.
To film myself. And obviously they're all vlogs, and if I'm completely honest, my life isn't that interesting, but you have to kind of make it interesting because otherwise you don't want to be putting out content that is going to be boring for people to watch. So I think that's one side of your channel that I really do enjoy, is because you're not vlogging, you're not filming your lifestyle, you're going out, you're doing challenges. You're obviously going to these events like the KSI Logan Paul. Because like for me, if you're getting paid to travel to LA, do you feel like there was pressure to get good content when you're out there?
Yeah, for sure. I think
because you had obviously a lot of videos planned out whilst you were there, you had to get content out quick.
Yeah. So we were working to a very tight deadline when we were out there. So we still wanted to stick to that one video a week. But so that meant that we had to like take laptops and hard drives with us. So we were like filming all the way through the day and then editing through the night. Kind of like you never stop. Whereas like when you work for a company, you'll work until you go home, and then when you go home you do, I mean, you're still thinking about it, but you can to an extent like forget about it.
I think that's the difference with being a YouTuber, and because obviously it's not really a 9 to 5 job, is it?
No,
it's kind of you're filming, you're editing, and it can obviously take longer than the 9 to 5 hours. And you might be filming late at night, so that means you might have to edit early in the morning. It's quite sporadic in that sense as
exactly
well.
And that's very much like with the nature of the stuff that we do, it's not all like in a studio. So it's very much like out and about, and a lot of the times, because we want to film videos where we're interacting with the public, we often have to do things that are in the evening or maybe at a weekend because you want to attend a certain event or something. But that just comes that's part and parcel of the role. Like when I took it on, I knew that that's what I was getting myself into. And like you say, as a YouTuber, you kind of have to commit to working beyond the regular 9 to 5, I think. But it's something that you're passionate about. So a lot of the time it doesn't really like feel like work. But back to the question about the stressfulness in LA. Yeah, I think there probably did feel like an added element of pressure. But then if I look back on those 3 videos that we made, I'd probably say that they were 3 of the highest quality videos that we've ever made. So it was like quite good stress, actually.
Well, it's not really working because you're out in LA.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying yourself. You're obviously all very relaxed, and you will make your best content when you're relaxed. You're enjoying yourselves.
Yeah, nice sunny weather and stuff. I mean,
so obviously, did you join VYB when they started then, or did you join part way through, or?
Yeah, so it started in, I think about if I get my dates right, March of 2018, and it was originally a YouTube channel called Balls Up. And when it very first started, so in my company, there's about 7 or 8 different YouTube channels that work in the same office as me. And one of those is something called Football Daily, which is really successful. They've got about 1.5 million subscribers. Football Punditry YouTube channel. So they kind of created a sort of a spin-off where 2 of their best presenters went on to this more like lifestyle-y channel called Balls Up. But at the time, it was all studio-based. So they were doing like commentary videos, they were doing quizzes, they were doing an Agony Uncles where it was kind of like asking, people sent in their problems and they asked. So it still had that comedic, it was still very comedic and it was very personality driven, but it was very different to where we are now. And so I joined in September, so it had been going for like 6-ish months, something like that.
What, in 2018?
In 2018. And then pretty much since then, because they were a very, very small team, and I'm the only difference that they've added me, so we still are a very small team, but it just gave us an extra resource to start to make bigger and better stuff. So we basically the first special video that we did, which is more similar to the stuff we do now, was like a Halloween video where we pranked some of our mates. But it was the very first time where we did anything out of a studio, out of the regularly scheduled programming of like a quiz and a commentary show that was out like the same days every week. And it was really well received. So basically the plan in 2019 was to make more of those out of the office one-off special videos. Every week it was something completely different, something topical, ideally, like you mentioned with Love Island, trying to hit things like that. And still a lot of the way through 2019, we were doing that kind of like, we were doing kind of like one special every now and again, but mainly we were doing those episodes, and we were putting 2 to 3 videos out a week. But in the end, what we decided was better for our growth is to cut the amount of quantity of the videos down. So we moved to just 1 video a week, and we tried to make that 1 video a banger. And then in January of this year, I think it was near the end of January, we just rebranded ourselves to fit that the style of video. So we moved from Balls Up to VYB. Not for any particular, I think we thought that Balls Up as a name was like a little bit rude. It wasn't particularly sellable to brands and that kind of thing. So we just wanted to give ourselves like a fresh start.
Why VYB?
So
is it meant to be Vibe, or?
It took a hell of a lot of time to think of a name. There was all sorts of stuff being thrown out. But I think eventually VYB was like, we like the idea of having 3 letters put together that to some people it didn't really mean anything, but it was just a memorable name.
It is quite memorable, VYB.
But then it also can be another way of spelling vibe. And we think that not to be too corny, but like we have a good vibe on the channel between us. So
and it gives the audience they can interpret how they want.
Exactly.
They can call it VYB, they can call it vibe. So which is clever as well in that sense.
So it was just like that was kind of the reason for it, really. There wasn't. It took ages to come up with a name, but we found that VYB was something that we kept coming back to. So that was always in the mix. It was never like number 1 the top, but it was always in the mix. So then we got to a certain point, we were like, well, there must be a reason that we still haven't thrown this name away. And it's quite punchy, 3 letters. So let's just go with it.
Simple as well. Simple logo, VYB. nothing too over the top.
Exactly.
And then obviously it's all the red as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So our logo is predominantly like a red circle, and then you've got VYB, which is like black with kind of like a white outline. As you say, again, quite simple. I think that's kind of with a lot of logos and banners and stuff now that you see, a lot of people are going to more like just simple, punchy things. Like sort of like stylized and graffiti stuff is potentially not becoming as popular anymore, and people are just like going for more standout, simple, bold.
Was that even for me? Because I've thought about doing merch. I've thought about doing obviously the student podcast. It took, to be fair, the student podcast, that was the first name that I thought of. I thought I want to do a student podcast. What about the student podcast? And then I looked up no other podcast. Well, there are obviously a lot of student podcasts,
but not with that name.
But not called the student podcast. Nice. They might be out there. I don't know.
But not as big as you.
Clearly, number one student podcast.
There you go, mate. Exactly.
Well, whether that's true or not, we don't know. So obviously you've joined VYB, but before VYB, you went to uni. What did you study at uni? How did that get you into becoming a YouTuber? Did that get you the job?
Did it get me? So people are usually surprised. So I went to Leeds University, but studied economics.
Right.
So obviously completely different. Yeah. So like when I was
because I thought you studied media for some reason.
Well, I mean, you would think,
make sense, yeah.
But no. So I did maths, economics, and history at A level. Basically just because like they were 3 subjects that I was like really interested in and pretty good at. And then when I went to university, I knew I wanted to go to university, but I didn't really know what I wanted to study, and I didn't really know what career path I wanted to take. But I knew that specifically Leeds University, I was thinking just as much about the university as I was about the course, which I would like recommend to a lot of people, to be fair, because there's loads of stuff that you can do outside of your course if you go to the right university.
When I finish uni, I actually want to go to London, hopefully get a job in London. Is your office in London? Yeah. You enjoying it in London? London's sick.
Mate, it's good. Yeah, it's a very good place to be. I mean, it's like it's not for everyone. It's like extremely fast paced. Like everybody's working like really long hours and stuff, and everybody can often live quite far away from each other. Like it's very common for you to have to travel an hour just to go to your mate's house. You just kind of, but that's just something you get used to. And it's also just like there's loads of opportunities there. Like for us who we just want to walk out of the office and film something quite quickly.
Well, filming in London is the best place.
Filming in central London. Should be on flight mode, mate. What's this all about? Unprofessional. I'm joking. So it's a good place to be. But Leeds. So when I was at uni there, so I did economics. But when I was at school, I'd presented a lot of talent shows and things like that, and that was always my one like hobby passion that I never thought was ever something I could turn into a career, but always something I found quite fun. And like, to be fair, what people now and again said I was quite good at, but I never presented anything big. It was just like talent shows and like Leavers prom and stuff like that, and teachers were like, "Oh, you were quite good." So I was like, "Oh, thanks, I'll keep doing it."
Thanks.
Yeah. So when I got to Leeds Uni, they had a student television as a club society kind of thing. But when I say television, it was all YouTube videos, and they did literally all sorts of kind of things, like whether it was going and interviewing drunk students at club nights, or whether it was interviewing Jeremy Corbyn, like they did all sorts of kind of things, or like they even made horrors, like documentaries. They did everything, right? So me thinking, oh, that would be a cool thing to keep on doing a bit of TV presenting, but again, never thought it would be a career. Started getting involved in that in my second year. I was too nervous to do it in my first year. So I was quite shy. I found it quite hard to commit to go into something like that, because I would have had to go and meet this group of people like on my own. And in my first year, I didn't have the confidence to it. But in my second year,
fair enough.
In my second year, I was like, now or never. I've got to just suck it up and do it. So I did, and like got really involved, had an amazing time. But gradually, I got involved in the making of videos as well as just being on screen. So like, how to hold a camera, a little bit of editing. And so it got to the point where I graduated from uni, and I've got a really tiny amount of experience, like barely anything. Like on editing and stuff, I barely even knew how to like keyframe. So like really base level of knowledge of editing and stuff. But just had a bit of a eureka moment where I was like, I don't want to do any of these grad schemes. They're fine for everyone else, but it's just not for me.
Yeah.
I'd done a couple of internships and things, economics related, and it just wasn't for me. Not saying that they're bad for anyone else, but it just wasn't for me. And media and the student television was the only thing that I was ever passionate about. Like I remember like writing my dissertation and I couldn't concentrate because all I was ever thinking about was the next video I wanted to make. Right?
That's
Might be able to resonate.
That's literally me, bro.
Yeah. So is that how you feel as well then? Yeah.
Well, for me, so throughout summer, I was uploading 3 videos a week?
Yeah. That's a lot of stuff.
Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
So you were almost doing it full time over summer then?
Yeah, and I was working full time.
Okay.
And I was doing this whole diet thing, and it was all
a whirlwind.
Yeah, it was all mad.
Yeah.
But for me, because every single night I was thinking, right, what can I film tomorrow? And then I'm thinking about editing, thinking about the music to include. I'm thinking about all this stuff, and I literally went for that 3 months. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything because all I was thinking about was all this editing. I didn't want to do anything. I was at uni. I was at school, and all I wanted to do was just edit, film.
Yeah.
I literally spend all my spare time thinking about filming. I don't do it as much now because I'm in my 3rd year at uni. I'm very much in like uni mode.
Yeah.
Doing the student podcast obviously is kind of slowed me down in terms of making vlogs all the time.
Okay, yeah.
Well, because this is kind of giving me like a break from filming.
Yeah.
Going out filming all the time. But yeah, for me, you've got to live it. With being a YouTuber, you've got to live everything. You've got to spot when there's a moment to film. If something happens, like pick up the camera.
Always
quick,
ready with
pick
your
up
camera,
the camera.
right?
You need to film this.
Yeah.
Because then obviously talking about the whole context thing, you've got to be relevant at the time when something happens. You've got to be there.
Mate, yeah.
So being a YouTuber, you have to live in that moment.
Yeah.
So when you finish uni and obviously had this experience, doing some YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
How did that then get you the job? Because obviously were they looking for people with YouTube experience? Were they looking for someone with just a degree? I'm assuming you must have gone through like an interview process of obviously testing how you were going to be with a camera, editing, or did you not go through any of that?
Not really, no. So just trying to think. So when I graduated, I was like, I want to work in media, but it wasn't specifically YouTube. So I've never. Another funny thing is that like I've never really been a huge YouTube fan. I'm obviously a lot more now because I'm like interested in what other people similar to like channels in my space are making. So I take a lot more of an interest in it now. Yeah. But it was just growing up, it was never something that I really watched.
Yep.
So YouTube, I never had my heart specifically set on working in YouTube. It was always like I thought it might be like something more TV. So I moved home after graduation and spent like 2 or 3 months just like full time applying for as many jobs as possible. Loads of like TV runners jobs, which is like the first thing you have to do to work in TV, just like making people teas and coffees and stuff. But even that is impossibly hard to get because everybody wants to do them. So I was applying to all these internships here, there, unpaid, paid, unpaid, whatever. And then eventually I got a 2-week unpaid work experience at Notts TV, local TV station, and was doing a few like Vox Poppy stuff. So just interviewing people on the street, filming and editing. So that gave me like a little bit more experience, something to put on the CV apart from just student television. And then eventually on this website called Media Arg, so Media ARGH, I think it's .co.uk, and it's specifically a website that posts jobs, entry-level media jobs. So I found this job, and at the time it was Balls Up, the channel, before it came VYB, and it was for the title of a production assistant. And it was basically saying that they want to grow in size and they want to hire 1 new production assistant, kind of like an entry-level job, and they wanted someone with basic level Premiere Pro experience. They can self-shoot, basic experience of Photoshop, and the last point was confidence on screen would be a big bonus. So that kind of fit the mold for me because I was with a lot of the TV related stuff, like I say, you have to start for a couple of years even just being a runner doing.
Whereas this you can go straight into it, can't
Whereas with YouTube you just go straight into it because everything is on a smaller scale. So I thought, well, maybe this is like the right path to take. So I applied to it, and luckily like the same day they replied to me saying like, thanks for your email, we'd love to have you for an interview. Because I think the thing that was strong about me is what I lacked in experience. I'd written a big long cover letter which showed that I'd like taken a lot of care in researching the channel. So I'd like put loads of information about like what my favorite videos are and even like what I would change about some of the videos. So I think that's probably what enticed them rather than like my experience and stuff.
Well, because it shows that you're interested, doesn't it?
Yeah. Which is like really important, and often people just send these CVs out willy-nilly to everyone, and they probably get loads of generic CVs. But if you show that you've really taken the time to care, I think that can go a long way, which I think it did for me. So then the interview was like about an hour, but it was it was with Sav and Dave, which are two of the guys who work on the channel. And it was just quite like a fairly informal chat, really. They were asking me a little bit about my experience, and they were just asking me about more information about like what I like about the channel, what I'd change about the channel. So to kind of show that I'd like taken interest again and I'd watched the stuff.
And you could push the channel further as well by employing you. Yeah,
and they also asked me, they specifically mentioned the fact that this wasn't going to be a regular 9-to-5 job. Like you're going to be working evenings and weekends potentially. So is that something you're happy to do? So, you know, I was like, on board with it. And then another thing that I'd sent them with the CV was I'd created an on-screen show reel. So I didn't really have enough stuff to showcase my editing talents, but I created a little show reel of stuff that I'd made at the student television, which was hopefully similar to the sense of humour that would be on that channel. And they basically said to me, once they'd hired me, because they hired me after that one interview, and they basically said to me that like, where you might lack the skill, like the technical skills, we can teach you that kind of thing, but we liked you as a person. And like the links that I'd sent them, the actual tangible things that they can watch, they were like, oh, this is hopefully the kind of person that would fit them. So,
and it's probably important the fact that you sat in with Sav and Dave as well, because they would be part of the team. They could obviously look at you and think, do we want to work with this guy?
Exactly.
Do we want you to be part of the channel? Has he got the confidence? Has he got the personality?
So I guess
kind of things.
Because they put the last point about being like confidence on screen would be a big bonus. I guess they were probably thinking maybe if this guy feels right, then we'll eventually introduce him to being on screen, which they did. So the way it worked was that I worked there for like about 3 months, I think. And then at that point, they were like, okay, let's start to introduce you to on screen. So I'd had a few months to get to know them, develop a friendship and a chemistry with them, so that then when they put me on screen it was all like natural, which is like very much what we care about. Like we don't want to like force a chemistry. We don't want to like throw people into the group who aren't friends with us anyway. Like we want it to be a natural group of friends, which it is.
So otherwise it's all acting, isn't it?
Exactly.
Which you don't want that. Do you do any acting? And would you say you act, or?
I personally would say no, but I guess it's very hard to say because like when the camera's on, you probably all like, I think we probably like fall into certain characters and such, like because I'm both the newest and the youngest, I probably like bear the brunt of a lot of the jokes. So they'll just like take the piss out of me quite a lot, and I'll just have to sit there and take it. So like you kind of fall into those characters, I guess, a little bit, but I wouldn't call it acting per se, but I guess that's open to interpretation a little bit. I think it's quite easy to tell when people are like faking things and acting in stuff, but like we don't really do that.
It's like for me, like when I started my channel, I felt like I had to. You have to kind of not over elaborate, but you have to. As soon as you turn on the camera, what's going on?
You're almost a caricature of yourself, aren't you?
I think, have that presence, you know what I mean?
I think that's the perfect way to be as well. You don't want to try and be a different person because then that can come across.
It can backfire as well in the future as well. Say if you go to meet someone and then you are a completely different person, or you meet a fan or something and they're like who is this guy?
You're not the same kind of guy.
It's like the whole thing with like Jake Paul now. He's trying to completely change his channel because for the past 2 years he's acted like this Disney person, and he's tried to come across this way to obviously get this whole children's audience, because that's where obviously where a lot of the audience is. And now he's got to the point where he wants to grow up, but he's losing all of his younger audience because they look at him and think, well, this isn't the guy that we subscribed to in the first place.
It is tough, and we had a bit of that trouble as well, slightly when we've transitioned from like the weekly studio based episodic stuff that we did to doing one-off specials, because although our audience was very small at the time when we were doing that kind of thing, when we were under the original name, we had like like 13 to 14,000 subscribers, and we kind of like peaked at that. But the fan base was very engaged. We had like 5,000 or 6,000 that were watching every video, and it was extremely engaged. So then when we changed the name and we started to make new stuff, even now we have the odd comment where it's like, oh, I wish you did the old stuff. So when you are like trying to transition into a new type of content, because you've spent a lot of time building up this audience, it can be quite hard. But I think you just have to, I don't know, the main advice that we would probably give after all that stuff that we've gone through is you just have to like trust that you want to make the stuff that you want to make. If you're happy with the content you're making and you think that this is the best way to take it, you just have to be patient and hope that even if all those fans leave, then in time you'll gain a new group of engaged audience that like the new stuff.
But engagement is like vital now, isn't it? Because you could get, say on like Instagram, if you've got 1 million followers and you've only got 10,000 likes, where's the engagement, you know what I mean? So
people pick up on that stuff
It
now.
is key. Should we dive into a Q&A?
Okay, mate, let's do it.
Right, so we've got probably about 6 questions that you have asked us both on Instagram. So we'll dive straight into the first one. I'll ask you this one.
Okay, mate. What
are your goals for 2020?
Good question.
Kicking off the year.
So
Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year, mate. For the channel, VYB as a channel, I guess for me, I would like to see more of a growth in engagement rather than necessarily a boost in subscribers. So we grew by like almost 60,000 subscribers last year, which was like a big gain for us.
It's mad. That's cool.
But one of the challenges we still find is trying to get a consistent amount of views on every video. So what I'd personally like to see is that we get to the point where we're like consistently hitting like 25 to 30,000 views on every video with a 75,000 audience. I think that's like just over a third of subscribers being converted into views. And if we can hit that every week, that would give me the most joy. And I think that would be one of our main goals. We went through a period of 5 or 6 weeks where we were hitting that. And then for one reason or another, we kind of like that dropped off. So for me, I'd like to see a boost in engagement, consistently hitting a certain amount of views, because then that's a sign that your audience, as we just mentioned, is really engaged, which is like the most important thing. So that's what I'd like to see. And then, I don't know, I guess for me personally, again, with regards to like video making and stuff, the thing that gives me the most joy is like making things look really cinematic and really nice. So for me personally, I'd like to be able to like just develop my skills in filming and editing. So if I get better as a camera person and I get better as an editor, that will then in turn mean that the VYB videos are way better, because that's the sport.
Do all of you edit, or is it just you? Because you are the editor and producer.
So there's 5 of us that you see, but Sav and myself are the 2 editors. So we tend to just rotate. So we'll take, rather than giving each other different bits of one video, we'll take turns to have all of the raw footage for one video and like put it all together. So we'll all have once we've done like a rough cut, we'll then like have all the other 4 people have a little watch over it and give us a few pointers, and then you'll make the changes based on that. But we'll usually take turns to edit one video. So I've come a hell of a long way, and I'm very thankful.
Because I was gonna say the editing it's good. I think it's really good, because I know how long it takes, and I know how much obviously effort you have to put in to make high quality videos. How long would it take you roughly to edit a video? Because I can be quite quick now, because especially when I was doing 3 videos a week, I was in the mode. I knew exactly how I was going to edit it. I knew what music I was using. Because finding music I find hard to do as well. Really tough. Non-copyright. So you're obviously not going to get a copyright strike, and you're not going to get demonetized.
And music makes like such a difference in the mood of the video. Like it completely set the tone. Like if I tried to like show Sav, like for example, if I tried to show Sav, who's the other editor, the video without music, he's like, it's quite hard to know how good this is without having some music underneath it. How long would it take? I don't know. So because the problem is we won't like sit and just edit for the whole time, because
like doing bits throughout a day or a week.
So over the course of a week, we'll be editing the next week's video. We'll also be planning the video for the next week, and we'll also be shooting the video for this week. If you know what I mean. So like each video probably takes about a week to make. So like I'm probably finished with an edit about 4 working days after starting on it, but I'm not working on it 9 to 5 for the whole time. So I'm not really sure how long they take, and often they can be quite different. Like we recently did a video where we made a fake boy band.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
the snowflakes.
Yeah, so we made a fake boy band. We created a charity Christmas single, and then we went and performed it live.
Which is an unreal idea.
Yeah, it was insane.
And then you got that other YouTuber involved as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was his name again?
So his name was Mikey Cobham.
Yep.
So he used to be in a YouTube... Well, he used to be in a boy band that was huge on YouTube. Had 1 million subscribers. And now he's left the band because doesn't really want to be in a boy band anymore. Wants to do lifestyle vlog YouTube content. So made his own YouTube channel. So we reached out to him because he's still got a very engaged fan base of boy band fans, let's say. So if he was in our boy band, it would give us a lot of like clout. But it was also, we hope it would be good for him because we promoted his YouTube channel a lot in our video. So it kind of worked for both of us. But anyway, so that video took like 3 months to make because we were filming like, well, the whole concept of writing a song, performing it, releasing it in time for Christmas. You had to do everything over a long period of time, so we had loads of footage. So that took me like 2 weeks to edit, and it was a 25-minute long video.
Did you edit that yourself then?
Yeah. But it took ages. But but then we also do other things, like we did a quiz on the tube, which was all shot in like the space of an hour and a half, and so that's a little bit quicker, I guess. So it very much depends on like what we're making, and it can vary quite a lot. Basically, but did I answer that? I feel like I was just rambling on. To get better at filming and editing, which would then make the channel better, I guess.
Would you ever branch off and become your own YouTuber? Obviously, you're still early days in VYB, so
I'd probably say
in 5 years' time.
Hard to say.
But obviously, it depends on the growth. It depends on everything, really.
I'd say for now, no, just because like I consider myself as like quite a short-termist. So I never really look further than like a year ahead. So when I first joined Balls Up VYB, I was like, this seems really cool. I'll have a year and see and reassess after a year, and I've loved it, and I've had the most fun I've ever had in my life working on it. So now I can't really see leaving. So that's all I'm like thinking about at the moment, like just thinking about growing this as much as possible and having as much fun as I can on this channel. So I'd probably have to say no, just because like I'm quite like short-term focused, and all I'm thinking about now is just like growing this as much as possible, I guess.
And working in a team is arguably better than working on your own as well. Yeah, I'd say.
I think it just depends on who you are. Some people prefer working on their own.
Well, and it obviously depends what content you're creating.
Yeah.
If you want to carry on creating the content that you're creating now on your own, it'll be much harder to do because you're not going to have people filming. You're not going to have people, because obviously you can bounce off each other as a group. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of banter. You're 4 lads, 5 lads. Yeah. So
4 lads and a girl, but she's one of the lads anyway.
I haven't seen her.
Georgia. She's
because I've only watched a couple of your videos.
Yeah. So she's not on screen probably as regularly as the rest of us. So her primary role is that she's the channel manager. So she kind of like is in charge of writing the titles, doing all the metadata and stuff, and sort of managing the YouTube channel. And she also runs all the socials. So she's does all of the Instagram stuff, all of the stuff on Twitter. But in the same way as me, where like gradually I got introduced to being on screen, it just became natural that we were like, let's bring Georgia on camera a little bit more. And we found like in the comments and stuff, people have like loved seeing her on it. And I like to think that she has a lot of fun on it as well. So that's something that we're doing a little bit more.
And it brings in a different dimension rather than having just all lads.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you've got a female point of view. You can bring in some more female audience.
Yeah, very much so.
I also noticed for when you perform live for your Snowflakes.
Yeah.
You're the audience.
Yeah, very very female dominated. Let's say. Yeah.
15-year-olds.
Yeah.
I was laughing about it last week with Liam. It was funny.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was insane. The fact that we'd like come up with this fake boy band, spoof boy band, let's say, rather than fake. But like as we were going on stage, people were literally screaming for Snowflakes.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is true.
Yeah.
Because I actually thought when I first started watching, I don't think I realised that it was the whole fake band thing, and I actually thought that you called yourself the Snowflakes and everything.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realised, oh wait, this is obviously all a joke.
Yeah.
And obviously, I listened to the song, and it was obviously all a joke.
Yeah. It
was good though. I thought it was funny.
Well, that's kind of what we wanted to play, because before we released our video of how we made it happen, we released the music video on Mikey's channel as the Snowflakes, and we wanted that kind of like reaction where people are like, is this real?
Yeah.
Or is this a joke? And they're not really quite sure.
Yeah.
Which
it builds a bit of traction as well.
Yeah, because obviously like all Mikey's fans are like, oh my god, he's in a new boy band. I have to listen to this, which gives it the first boost.
It did quite well as well, didn't it? Where it come on the charts or something.
It got 21 in the charts in Ireland for about an hour, which was our claim to fame. And then we thought it had gone number 1 in Sweden, but apparently that wasn't true. I don't know whether it was true or not. I like to think it is, but we weren't quite sure whether that may be a bit far-fetched, number 1 in Sweden.
Oh shit, it stopped.
No worries, mate.
As we go into the new decade, what advice would you give yourself 10 years ago? Obviously, this is probably more aimed at you because 10 years ago, I was 10.
I was 13.
You were 13. Let's say 5 years ago, going into uni.
Okay. So when I was 18 going into uni.
Do you regret studying economics?
I like to say no, because I feel like everything has happened
for a reason
and got me to where I am.
Now, yeah.
Because I wouldn't have known at that age. Like, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Like, maybe it would have been better if I studied something like broadcast journalism. But then again, I wasn't to know at that time, and I thought that economics was the route I wanted to go down. But over the course of time at university, I realised it wasn't, and I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe if I didn't pick economics, maybe if I picked a different degree, I would have gone to a different university, and then I wouldn't have had that experience as the student television, and I could be doing something completely different. So I don't really regret that, because I just think, there's no point just regretting. I think there's always better to think, what have I done, and it's got me to where I am now, and what can I do in the future. But 18-year-old self, I think it would just be like, just be as proactive as possible. Like, there's no substitute for being proactive. Like, you can always say, oh, I wish I did this 5 years ago, I wish I did that, but at the end of the day, the only person who's going to get, like, you it's only you who's going to make something happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to tell you keep making YouTube videos. Like, it's completely up to you to start up this podcast, start up the whole YouTube channel, and have grown it to where you've grown it. No one's going to like be forcing you to do that. It's all off your own back. You're only going to achieve things through being proactive. And I like to think I've been quite good at that. But I think that would be the main piece of advice. I think in the first couple of years when I was 18, 19, although I was a bit shy, so I don't really like worry about that too much and think I could have done that much more. Because I was shy at that time. But maybe I could have been a bit more proactive to have made things easier for myself in the future years. You got any advice for yourself when you were 15? Would it have been?
Maybe not 15. Maybe when I was 18.
Okay.
2 years ago. For me now, advice that I'd give myself is to work smarter, not harder.
Okay.
So for me, for the past 2-3 years at uni, I've trying to study architecture, trying to run a YouTube channel, trying to do all my training, everything. For me, I've like grafted like proper hard to get as far as I possibly can. But for me now, coming into 2020, I'd much rather work smarter than harder, because I got to the point where I was working that hard where I was not sleeping, I wasn't going to the gym. I suffered with insomnia for 6 weeks. I didn't sleep for like 6 weeks because everything was just too much. So I definitely give people advice and to work smarter, not harder. Working harder won't necessarily help you as much as it would if you're working smarter. Make sure you're getting your rest.
Yeah.
Make sure you're working in your working hours, not pushing yourself too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, definitely work smarter than harder. Because you could say, like we're talking about how you reduce your content down to 1 a week.
Yeah.
So you're not working harder, you're working smarter. So you're narrowing down the content, but you're making that piece of content much, much better.
Yeah.
Which is going to be more likely to be better content, do better on YouTube itself. Get more engagement. So for me, when I was doing 3 videos a week, I had the mentality, right, I want to keep getting content out, quantity over quality.
Yeah.
But at the same time, throughout the whole time when we're doing YouTube, I've always made sure my videos are really good quality, make sure they're as good as each other, make sure they're someone's ringing me. Make sure every single video is acting as if a new person is coming to the channel. I'm not making the same content over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But for me, narrowing down the content and making sure that 1 video a week is like top quality.
A banger. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit longer, have a little bit more informative content in there, a bit more entertainment. You want to mix it up a bit, and definitely just working smarter, like not drilling yourself into the ground, working ridiculous hours.
Absolutely. I think that's like a really, really good piece of advice. I remember watching this video, we were just chatting about him earlier, that Gary V.
Yeah.
So I remember like watching a video of his that had like a really big impact on me, where he was talking about when you graduate from university and you're like the age of 21, 22, and you enter this like golden period where you shouldn't be doing anything else apart from just like working, grafting really hard at making your like dream come true, whether that's like starting your own business, your own YouTube channel, or working in a job you love. And like he was like, yeah, you should be, working in a basement until 2 a.m. and all this kind of thing. And it did resonate with me quite a lot, because I was like, yeah, I can put more effort into work than anything else. And if I work really hard, I can make things happen, which has happened over the past year. Like we've worked incredibly hard and we've grown a lot from that. But to an extent, it doesn't mean that you should work every single hour that God sends. Because if you end up just like suffering from burnout, and it then makes you completely unproductive if you're trying to do more work. Like if you end up staying in the office until like stupid o'clock, it means that you then don't have to you don't have time, or you don't even feel like going to the gym in the morning, and you're feeling a lot more sluggish, and therefore like you're slower when you're editing, and then when you're on screen you're a little bit more tired, and things just aren't as good. So yeah, I think that's a really good piece of advice, actually, to like, you can work smarter than harder. I think I couldn't agree more, to be fair, mate.
Kind of following on from that, what's your new decade resolution? We kind of discussed that.
What else? I think also maybe my only other piece of advice would be like to not compare myself to others as much. Especially with like social media and stuff. You like, everybody's life always looks better than yours, doesn't it? And equally, like, I don't know, sometimes I'm looking at other YouTube channels that are maybe a lot bigger than yours, and you're like, oh, I kind of wish I was there, kind of thing. But then you have to realise that, it's all a process. If you work hard enough,
everyone's got their own situation.
Yeah, exactly. People aren't. You're not showing all of the things that are going on behind the scenes, aren't you? So try and just think about yourself and the people around you, rather than trying to constantly compare yourself. Like, remember that you're, running your own race, as it were. And then, like, that makes for more peace of mind.
It's like even probably about a year ago, I was very much, how can I better that? How do I? Because a lot of the times I'll create a piece of content and I'll take inspiration from other YouTubers. I'll see how they've done it, and then I'll produce a content that maybe I think is better than someone else's. And then obviously it doesn't do as well, and it's kind of like a bit of a kick in the arse, kicking the balls.
Yeah, mine's better. Why haven't I got more views?
But then I think, because I've been doing it for 2.5 years now, I've kind of got over the period of, like, over the 2.5 years, I've got used to. I'm very much starting to narrow down on my own thing. Basically, I kind of block out quite a lot of other people, what they're doing. Just focus on your own thing. And I think with you, because you are obviously a much bigger channel than mine, in some ways you do have to compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
But it's how you compare yourself to others. If it's in envy, then obviously that's not Jesus, that's not a good obviously situation.
Yeah.
Like you want to, but then obviously you do want to look at other channels and you do want to compare and how you could improve as a channel, and then obviously that'll push you further.
Yeah.
So I guess it is that balance as well.
Yeah.
But obviously don't let it get to you, I think is what the key thing is.
That's what, the main thing is. Like, obviously I have to, and I'm sure you do as well, like look at other YouTubers who are in a similar space to you and be like, what kind of videos are they making? Because that's just like simple market research, isn't it? You have to be watching what other people are doing. But then, exactly like you say, it's not like, oh, I wish I was doing as well as them. It's like, how can I do things to try and get some of their audience perhaps, or they did this really well, I'm going to replicate that.
Yeah. Well, market research is obviously really important
mate.
In a YouTube channel. Right, well, should we do final question?
Yeah, okay, mate. Let's do it.
What's your
that time already?
Yeah, what's your favourite memory whilst working on the channel? I think that's a nice one to finish up.
Yeah, nice
podcast.
So there was one day, like, quite early in. So I mentioned earlier when we made this like Halloween prank video, and this was like the very first video of the new form of videos that we now make.
Yeah.
It was out of a studio, and basically I wasn't the lead editor on it. Sav was editing it, but it came to the final day of editing, and we both come into work, and we basically spent the whole day just going through it together and just like fine tuning it. And like went to loads of effort to make it really, really slick, like kind of as short as possible, like really snappy, the perfect music, like everything. I've probably never put so much effort into making it so precise. And then the feeling of watching that final video once everything was done, and we'd let you know all of the pre-production. We'd spent 2 weeks planning it. Then the filming it went really well, and then Sav had edited it for a whole week, and then I was helping out on that final day. And just being able to watch it for the first time, watch this like something that we were really, really proud of, and we were like, oh, I really hope that we can make more videos like this because we loved it. It was just like a really nice feeling, and it was the first time. I think the reason it was so memorable was like because it was the first time we'd made something like that. I was like, this is really exciting. I want to do more stuff like this. And you know, regardless of what the comments are, like we're really proud of that video, which is really important as well. I think as a YouTuber, like there's so many keyboard warriors out there. As long as it's a video that you yourself are proud of, then eventually over time, if you keep making stuff like that, then the audience will arrive.
Well, that's the beauty of making content and uploading on YouTube. So for me, I'll think, like my 18th birthday, what did I do on that? I'll look up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Got a video of my 18th birthday, look back, and it's like, I think that's the beauty of filming, editing how you want it to look like. You have that power. No one is telling you well, I guess in your case someone might be telling you how to edit, but you have that power, and you to edit a video, edit a film, because obviously as we've got older, we've been brought up watching films, and then being put in that position yourself to edit it yourself, create the story yourself, and then actually to look back on that. That's what I love so much about doing YouTube, because I can look back and I've got all these memories.
You can see the progress, I guess, as well. Like,
and even doing like quite frequent vlogs, you can for 3 periods of 3 months of your life, you've got the whole thing documented. You know what I mean? And you go through your ups, your downs, maybe some pieces that you're really proud of, maybe some bits that you're not so proud of.
Absolutely.
And it's all there. It's all documented. You've all got it there on film. It's mad if you actually think about it like that as well.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it.
Let me ask you the last question then for it, because I'm sure people who watch you religiously will be interested in knowing like your plans for 2020.
My plans, I think, because the end of 2019, I very much tailored off YouTube because of uni and just keeping on top of my uni work and everything. I haven't been putting out as much content as I've wanted to, but when I have put out a piece of content, I've enjoyed making it. And it kind of, as soon as I put out a piece of content, I think like, wow, like, I really do enjoy doing this. I really love making videos, etc. So my plan for 2020, I think one of the key things is just to finish my course, get my degree. And then after that, I think everything will kind of just fall into place in terms of getting a job.
Yeah, mate, definitely.
Where to go with that with the YouTube channel.
Because I guess the thing is, like, you've got your whole life really to make YouTube channel, but you've only got like one shot at getting this degree right. Do you know what I mean? So it's probably better to put all your effort into getting that right.
But then at the same time, I do, because I love making YouTube videos so much, and I do want to keep it growing. I might make a one a week.
Okay.
What do you call it? Routine?
Yeah, schedule.
Schedule. So maybe once a week, every Sunday or something.
Okay.
But I want to produce content that I personally enjoy.
Yeah.
That I really enjoy making. I want to kind of not branch out from my usual vlogs, etc. But I want to do more challenges.
Okay.
I want to do more collaborations. I want to do more like funny content, comedic.
Yeah.
Because I quite enjoy doing like acting and just pissing around.
Yeah.
Like since I've started doing TikTok and stuff, like the short form comedy.
Yeah.
I've quite enjoyed doing that, and I quite like doing like sketches and stuff like that.
I think it allows like your audience to see a different side of your personality as well.
Yeah. So I think for 2020, it's more. I think 2019 was the year of like realization and like discovering the podcast, etc.
Yeah.
And then I think 2020 is just capitalizing on that and going further. And I do really want to push the channel further, because in the past year I haven't grown as much as I wanted to. So I've gained 5,000 this year, which is still good.
Very good, mate. Yeah.
But I want to probably get up to like 20,000 by the end of the year. I'm on eight at the moment.
Yeah.
And just keep pushing it, but at the same time maintaining a good balance with my life, my training, seeing my friends, my family, sleeping, which is a lot of things that I've neglected whilst going to uni, just because it's all been make videos, do uni work, go to the gym, go to bed. But I want to see my friends a lot more. I want to see my family a lot more, build relationships.
And I think in turn, like doing all that and balancing your life more might mean that you actually produce higher quality stuff.
Yeah,
because you're happier.
Yeah, you're happier.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're more comfortable with what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably what I want to.
Good advice,
That's
mate.
where I want to get.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes, because in 6 months' time I might be living in London. I don't know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen, do you? Really?
Yeah.
And like what you say about how you can't really plan, you can't look too far ahead because you don't know what's going to happen. And you can't look too far back because you can't. You won't be where you are now without doing them things. Like we were talking about the whole going to uni thing.
Yeah.
Studying economics.
Like I think it's very good to have like long-term goals and where you want to be, and because then you can arguably you're more driven and you're more likely to achieve them. But then at the same time, like you say, especially at our age, like live so dynamic lives, there can be lots of twists and turns, things can happen that you don't want to be too committed to them just in case. Like if you're open to, I could be living here, I could be living there, I could be doing this, could be doing that, then that's how I personally like to be anyway.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll wrap it up there then.
All right, mate.
Thank you as always for listening to the #1 student podcast in the world. Thank you, Sam, for coming on.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks very much for having me.
Do you want to plug at all?
If that's okay.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, if you want to see more of me and my mates, you can head over to the VYB YouTube channel. That's it, just VYB,
and
just the 3 letters.
What's your Instagram?
It's at Sam Coff with 1 F and then an underscore at the end of it all. So basically, my Instagram is mainly just like a further promotion of the channel. So if you want to see a few extra bits of stupid stuff that I'm doing, then follow that, please. Be nice. Maybe brand deal might get off the back of it.
Being on the #1 student podcast.
Absolutely, mate. You never know.
So yeah, thank you as always for watching and listening to the #1 student podcast in the world. If you've got any more questions, please hit me up. Just drop me a message in the comment section, or just message me at my Instagram, which is at Tom Rowe. So this is going to be live on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, and obviously on the YouTube. So yeah, thank you as always for listening, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
There you go.
Bingo.
Lovely stuff.